I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is June 26th. Skenesday was a letdown yesterday. Well, no Pirates baseball today, which means you can't lose, right?
I'm bummed out.
This is fine.
Sigh of relief. Today is a day off. Do something fun today. We have a lot to cover in this one, so let's get rolling. The Pirates lost a game that Paul Skenes pitched again. We are now 8-9 when he starts. This time, maybe a little on Skenes himself. Maybe. I mean, let's be fair. It would be nice if the offense could pick up Skenes every once in a while, too. It just maybe not sharp. Mizorowski, as advertised. What an outing for him. Skenes just didn't have the A or maybe even the B stuff in that game. Walked a couple guys, 4 hits. None were really hit that hard. Struck out 4 runs came in. I guess the 4 game. 4 innings. Some so-so defense there, but nothing really poor. Nothing really stood out. Skenes gets taken out after 78 pitches, 50 strikes. There's really not much else to say about him. Skenes is not perfect. His ERA goes up to a still fantastic 2.12. He's a great pitcher. He lost 1 game. And obviously I know that there's been 9 of them, but that's not the point. A lot of those he's been brilliant in. Milwaukee's a good place to hit. That's a good offense. You can say all the things, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Meanwhile, Mizorowski goes 5 on 74 pitches, also walks 2, but just 2 hits and struck out 8 guys. Which brings me to the ever static complaint that this team is a bad offense. They're striking out way too much lately. Another 13 strikeouts in this game. And I've got some numbers here that I'm going to look off of here. On the season, they have the 4th most strikeouts in Major League Baseball, sandwiched between the Red Sox and Yankees. They're a good ways away from the Red Sox. They're like 60 away from the Rockies and Angels. So they're and they've played an extra game than a lot of these teams too. But in the last 7 days, they have struck out the most. 83 strikeouts in the last 8 games. They're dead last in home runs with only 55 home runs so far. The Royals with 56 are the only team to score less runs than the Pirates this season. And only the White Sox have a lower OPS than this team. They also have the lowest number of doubles in Major League Baseball. Dead last in RBIs. Yet they have the 5th most steals, 27th in average, 25th in on base, last in slugging. They've grounded into the 2nd most double plays, only more by the A's. They've hit a home run once every 49.31 at bats, which is last. Like I said, an extra game. They get an extra homer. There's just these numbers, we've been talking about them all season. They haven't been changing. 27th, 28th in the offense. It's just all together. We've played halfway through the season, 82 games. One more than halfway, the Bucs just lost their 50th game. So they're 1 away. You don't have to be good at math here. You already thought about this in your head. They were 1 loss away at the halfway point to be on pace for 100 losses. I know this stuff is maybe running it into the ground, but on the pitching side, it's a little bit different. It has its ups and downs. It looks different. 14th in ERA, 11th in hits allowed, 16th in earned runs, 5th in homers allowed. It's a good number. But just 26th in strikeouts, but 6th in whip, which usually points to a good defense, not a lot of walks, which they're not a lot of walks. 11th in walks per 9. Averaged against is only 7th, so they're not a lot of hits. They're 8th in pitches per inning pitched, 10th in most double plays. So there is some things that show that maybe there's some good defense, at least in those types of numbers, but also the case might be soft contact, good pitching. The strikeouts, the fact that they're 26 in strikeouts, but they're doing really well at this means that they're pitching to contact and doing it well. And we've seen that from some of these guys. But basically, across the board pitching, it's kind of middle of the pack. That's the whole team. So that includes the struggles and some of the bullpen woes and that fifth starter that's been kind of a mix of struggling and good outings. But if you were to single out some different numbers, some different time periods, some different stretches, you'd be getting some different results. But we're looking at the whole half season for all this stuff, right? We're looking at half the season. You get a general idea. This is across the board. Pirates versus other teams, so on and so forth. Pirates are the only team under 500 in the division now. What do you do with that? The only team in the division with a negative run differential, and checks notes, it's negative 68. The lowest team in the division, other than us, is plus 33 by the Cardinals. Now, that's not the Rockies negative 204 or the Nationals of Miami 71 and 88 in the negative. The Orioles negative 87. There's worse, right? The White Sox negative 82. That's because the pitching's been good. A's negative 131. There's other teams that are behind that. And the only other division in baseball with only one team in the negative is that West with the Rockies at negative 204. 61 losses. But obviously it's the same thing there. The rest of the four teams over 500. But when I say that the Rockies are 8 and 46 against teams over 500, remember those numbers. 8 and 46. There's something coming later here. In just a couple more numbers I'm going to read. Go back to the division here. Go back to the Pirates. 20 and 21 at home. It's a losing record. No other team in our division has a losing record at home. 12 and 29 on the road. The teams in our division are not that bad. Now, the Cubs are the only team with a winning record on the road. Brewers are an even 500. And the Reds are just 20 and 21 on the road. So, there is some sort of silver lining. And this is where I was telling you to remember that Rockies 8 and 46. If you remember, that's 54 games. So the Pirates are 23 and 42 against teams over 500. I just said that the Rockies had played 54 games against teams over 500. The Pirates have played 65 of their games over teams that are 500. Now, everybody else in our division has either 23, 24, or 25 wins against those teams. And losses is 23, 24, or 27. The Cardinals are an even 24 and 24. The Reds are 24 and 23. The Cubs and the Brewers are actually, they have losing records against teams over 500. But you notice that both the wins and the losses were in the 20s. And here are the Pirates with the wins in the 20s and losses in the 40s. So the schedule might be a little bit easier in the second half. Easier is a really hard word to say right now. Favorable, you could say that. Maybe even playing field, you could say that. But I guess that's the only silver lining. It's not science. We don't know what the team's records will be when we play them. It could be that you played some teams that were one game over 500 when you played them, and then the Reds turned around and played them when they were one game under. That is very possible. So you don't know. But it has been a tough road. There's been a lot of good teams. I mean, we just finished up with the Tigers, and the Tigers were the first team, they're still the only team, to get to 50 wins. This is the best team in baseball. It doesn't feel that way. And we played them pretty well for the most part, to a certain degree, I would say. Well, it's just baseball, right? After the offensive numbers I just read off, I just don't think it matters a whole lot what the schedule is. I mean, if this offense doesn't figure some things out, this is going to continue, and we're going to be pushing that line really close to or at 100 losses again. Have that open. And the thing that I struggle to agree with the most is when fans just talk about how terrible the team is. The numbers are there. The statistics are there. They've played terrible. But it's just not that easy for me. Like, I'm not letting these guys off the hook. They should be better than this. This team is not complete, without question. They're not a complete team. But you have Cruz, Reynolds, Gonzalez, McCutchen, and Horwitz. Let's just say those 5 players. I think those 5 players are valid players to be on a winning team. I think that Davis could get there, but he has a lot of work to do at the bat. I love the defense. Just like third base, the defense has been the most productive on the field, but at the plate, it's been a major letdown, and I'll include both Hayes and Triolo in that. You have a giant hole in left field. IKF's been passable, but he won't be here next year. So there is clear improvements that this team needs to make, but you've also had a giant run from O'Neal Cruz lately that has just been bad after what looked like a breakout season. You've had Brian Reynolds, the worst season of his career has been this year. Maybe it's starting to look better. I know since he came back, he's hitting like in the 380s. I don't know how that's changed. Since the last time I looked that up. He had 1 hit today, which 1 for 4 is going to raise his batting average. That's where he's at. So he's probably hitting around 350 or so. Insert whatever comment you have there. You're already starting to hear rumblings of trades in late June. Will they trade Mitch Keller, David Bednar, IKF? Who's on the block? Bailey Falter. Who's it going to be? I think Jake and I will discuss that on Sunday's show. Sunday nights, live on YouTube, probably 9:30 this week. It might be a little bit late just because of some things that are happening this weekend. I'll keep an eye on. It'll be on YouTube and it'll be scheduled, so you'll be able to see. But just keep an eye on that. Set your notifications if you want to go check it out. Set your notifications. You'll get popped whenever we go live, and we have a little 2-minute countdown, so you'll have 2 minutes to get in and check it out. But maybe we'll get an opportunity to talk about maybe some trades. That's something that we try to avoid for a while, but with the rumors kicking up, I think it's time maybe we'll cover that a little bit. Before I get out here, I want to follow up on the Cruz stuff just one more time. Just a short thing here. I recorded yesterday's show before I heard all the post-game interviews and stuff like that. Probably shouldn't do that. Probably should get that context when something like this happens. It's probably a good scenario to sit and wait for those. But I was tired and I need more sleep. And so I pushed it, and there were a couple things that were said that I think is worthy of bringing up here just to kind of close this out. Okay. Cruz made the statement. First off, DK was clear that it was running down the line, why he took him out. He was also clear that he had a conversation with him and that he accepted it well and that he took ownership of it. Cruz then said the same thing. He took ownership. DK seems like that is the picture of accountability and Cruz ownership. Cruz also said, I mean, you have to explain yourself a little bit. And so he said that he thought there were already 2 outs. If you watch the replay, there's a shutdown and then there's a slight, when he sees the throw go to first is probably when he realizes that there were not 2 outs. I don't think that excuse is like okay, he thought there was 2 outs, no big deal. No, that's not it. You have to understand how many outs there were. Oddly enough, this was a thing that happened a couple different places. Pete Crow Armstrong caught a ball at the wall and just was going to jog in, and Mason Wynn scored from second on the play, and Pete Crow Armstrong thought that there were 2 outs. Ellie De La Cruz in the bottom of the 9th, all in the same day. Bottom of the 9th, ball gets hit up the middle, 1 run comes in, and Ellie just kind of jogs to second with he could have got to third. The ball was in the gap. He didn't. He just jogged to second thinking that the game was already over. Then it was too late to get to third. There was a wild pitch that moved him to third that would have scored him. Instead, they had to win in extra innings. They did win in extra innings. He even scored the run on a Gavin Lux base hit. But the point is there are other teams, and we're just talking in the division, where this sort of thing starts to happen. And it can't. And all of those guys know that it can't. And all of those guys were dealing with that. And I think that even O'Neal Cruz in this situation will have to answer to that. You have a job. You should know how many outs there are. There's enough said. If you didn't listen to, if you listen to Gary on Locked On Pirates, he waited for the post game. He covers this really well, and how the fact that like saying there were 2 outs is not okay, you're good, but it's nope, okay, well, I understand why you did it now, but now the problem is thinking that there were already 2 outs. Like, it's just a new problem. But at least the effort, there is something to be said about the effort. Anyway, Cruz was in the lineup Wednesday. It was clear that he showed good effort in the game. Ball he came in on a sliding attempt. When he missed the ball, popped up and ran after it when it trickled behind him. These are what I'll call normal things that you should see. We're talking about the expectation, not he went above and beyond the day after this happened, but he did normal things. This is the expectation. He scored on a ground ball late in the game. Play could have been close. Expected amount of effort. Sprinted home. He's very fast. He was safe by a mile. The throw was a little bit off too. These are normal things. These are the expectations. He met them on Wednesday. He did not meet them on the ground ball Friday or Saturday, on running to first on Tuesday. So good. He met expectations. The best thing I saw was the bump in the lineup, though. He moved Cruz to the 5 spot, DK did, to get him out of the leadoff spot, which is the secondary thing to just trying to get the hitting there. He still was 0 for 4 in this game with a strikeout, but he scored a run, reached on an error, and scored a run, the one I was just talking about. I would have put him 4 instead of 5, but that's being nitpicky, and it makes sense what DK's thinking there. Keep Nick Gonzalez up above him, so it's totally fine. This all seems so simple to handle a situation like this, right? Now that we've seen it on the other side, now that we've heard all the comments, this seems simple. This is how it should have been handled. It was handled that way. It seems like everything is like, okay, now let's put it behind us. The thing is it hasn't been handled this way for the last 5 years. So forgive me if I sound a little bit impressed. We are trying to keep the context of this is expected, but we just haven't seen that. And you know what? We'd be talking about it anyway, because we have a podcast. That's kind of what we do here is we talk about all of it. All right, let's get out of here. Enjoy this day off from Bucko Baseball. I hope if you've missed any days this week of the show, you'll go back and check out those episodes that you may have missed this week. Shows every day this week. If you're on Spotify, that show is posted. I was able to get that fixed and get it up there. So Sunday's live show, Monday morning's release on Spotify is up. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to that because it wasn't there earlier in the week, take an opportunity of a day off to go back and listen to that show with Jake. Don't let the losses of this team bring you down. It's just baseball. And while it's a lot of fun to root for your team and get frustrated because you're invested in it, baseball teaches a good lesson on letting things go and moving forward. And that's what we sometimes don't do as fans. And by all means, something that the 2025 Pirates are going to have to learn this season. That's just the nature of it. Have a great day, guys. It's almost Friday. Let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Subscribing to your platform of choice is the best way to be notified for new episodes. And now, new episodes every weekday. Remember, live shows with my dad and Uncle Jake are Sundays at 9 p.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and join them in the live chat every Sunday. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.